Welcome to Window on Well Street, a program that shares information about delayed food sensitivities. Sensitivities that may be causing symptoms like migraine headaches, irritable bowel syndrome, fatigue, stress, and even ADD or ADHD, just to mention a few. I'm Robert Chesney, your host, and in today's program we're going to be focusing on the immunobloodprint. Now that's a simple blood test that identifies food sensitivities. These could be the sensitivities that are causing these symptoms. We're so happy to have with us today Dr. Mikkel Parsons, and she joins us from her practice in Fresno, California. Welcome, Dr. Parsons.
Thanks for having me.
Dr. Parsons, many of our viewers are concerned about their newborns, and we're finding there's a number of sensitivities that could occur with their babies. Considering the whole process, could you enlighten us with some of your personal experiences?
Yes, when it comes to newborns, obviously breast milk is the best, but there are certain times and situations when that's no longer an option. We are very limited in the pre-prepared formula choices that we have. They're either going to be soy-based, they're going to be cow-based, or they're going to be pre-digested hydrolyzed proteins. With all of those, because of the FDA and how closely and strictly they're monitored, the protein source is going to be different in each of those. They're going to have similar vitamin mineral makeup, and depending upon taste and flavor, they're going to have some other things added in. So for example, those hypoallergenic formulas are really pre-digested amino acids, which are very, very bitter. So to make it more palatable, they're going to add in corn syrup solids, sweeteners, so it tastes a little bit better. They're going to add chemicals in to keep it stabilized. So when it comes to trying to figure out what's a healthier solution, sometimes it's going to be by trial and error. You know, you could do testing if they're a little bit older and see what the sensitivities show. But another option that works well for most kids or most infants is transitioning them over to goat's milk. Goat's milk is very similar to human breast milk. It is pre-digested. The only drawback is if that little one is going to have an issue with casein. There is casein in that. If there's a casein issue, how that will manifest in a child is they will typically become constipated. So if that's the case, goat's milk is not going to be a healthy option. But know that there's wonderful formula recipes available, but we're not ever going to find them manufactured because the whole formula industry is so closely monitored. But there are some things that you could make on your own. One thing that you don't want to do is make like just rely on almond milk or rice milk. Those things are not complete, they're not balanced, there's not enough nutrients in there for an infant, especially in the first 6 months of life. So this is a situation where you really want to rely on the advice of your healthcare practitioner. They will be able to coach you and guide you into which alternative would be the best for your child.
Now, in our research, we're aware of the fact that you're a proponent for sensitivity testing at an early stage. Others wait until, frankly, everything else has failed, then they do testing, but you tend to be proactive and do it first. Could you share with us what age is the proper age for testing a child? And secondly, are there any telltale signs that a parent should be aware of based on your findings?
There's a lot of controversy as far as when is it best to test. I hear practitioners say you don't want to test anyone under the age of 2. I've had other practitioners say I test whenever I see the need. I have tested someone as young as 3 months of age. And I did that because we didn't know what else to do. We had tried all of the easy things that didn't require testing. So testing is something that I do a lot of. In fact, I get people coming to me because they know I will test. Another option is doing the elimination diet, but when you're dealing with a child, it's hard to eliminate something and keep them off of it long enough to kind of clean them out before you reintroduce. And I find that parents often get very frustrated. The only drawback to testing a little one is they are going to have a blood draw, and for some kids that's traumatic. So in my community I have an idea of which phlebotomists are great for pediatrics and where they're located. We call ahead of time to make sure that they are prepared for a little one, because even though they are going to get stuck, we want it to be as good of an experience as possible. So I tend to test younger when I feel I have to, and that's going to be an individual practitioner's decision. But there are times when that's something that has to be done because we have not been able to figure out what's going on otherwise.
Clearly, parents are the best judge of what's going on with children. Could you share any telltale signs that they should be looking for?
Some of the signs, especially with little babies, is colic. That's a common food allergy flag. Adjusting often helps that, chiropractically, but sometimes we have to then kind of work with the foods. Irritability, chronic cough, asthma especially big with food sensitivities. Joint pain is another, especially the growing pains at night. Typically I find that there is a food allergy trigger for that. And corn, for some reason I see a high correlation with corn allergies and those growing pains, especially in the joints. So those are some of the more common things that we see with kids: the sore throat, the runny nose. There's something that's stressing their immune system, causing their immune system to say, I'm in trouble. Stop feeding me this stuff. So then it's just a matter of doing the test, saving a lot of time and a lot of grief and a lot of stress versus trying to figure it out through an elimination diet. Just test. Get it over with.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Parsons. And we're going to continue with Window on Wells Street after the break. But I want to encourage those of you watching who may have a family member, a friend, or even a coworker who's experiencing similar health issues. Please forward the link from this video to them. They will thank you, believe me. And if you haven't had your immunoblood please learn more and get yourself tested. I did, and believe me, it has really made a difference. Remember, there's a hidden link between what you eat and how you feel. I'm Robert Chesney, and we'll be right back with more Window on Wells Street.